Dock workers are now on strike at ports from the East Coast to the Gulf of Mexico. Frank Holland joins us right now. He's got the latest on this. He is right there on the picket lines. And Frank, what's happening?
Hey, good morning, Becky. As many as 50,000 longshoremen went on strike at just after midnight this morning, shutting down East and Gulf Coast ports, disrupting the U.S. supply chain, and according to many industries, increasing prices and reducing availability of products going into the key holiday season. As you mentioned behind me, we see some ILA members here gathering right now.
All right, welcome back into Live Now. I'm Austin Westfall. Here's the breaking news of the evening. We're taking a live look at Elizabeth, New Jersey right now, where U.S. port workers are being seen striking. We're hearing that this is beginning in states from Maine to Texas. Dock workers at ports from Maine to Texas began walking picket lines early Tuesday, and a strike over wages and automation that could reignite inflation and cause shortages of goods if it goes on more than a few weeks. Maritime analyst Sal Mercogliano is joining us. Sal.
At the East Coast's largest port, one of the nation's most powerful labor unions is flexing its muscles. Dock workers say a last-minute offer of 50% pay increases over 6 years from the U.S. Maritime Alliance wasn't enough to prevent a strike.
45,000 union dock workers likely to walk off the job at midnight, kicking off a massive strike that could shut down ports from Maine to Texas.
And we have to fight for what we rightfully deserve. Let's get a contract and let's move on with this world.
The union demanding a 77% wage increase over 6 years and limits on the use of the automation of cranes, gates, and container moving trucks. The United States Maritime Alliance has responded, offering a 40% pay hike.
We're looking live once again at Elizabeth, New Jersey, and some of the 45,000 workers who are off the job. These are members of the International Longshoremen's Association. Cargo traffic at major ports in the eastern United States, all the way from Maine to Texas, on strike.
Ooh, yeah. So thanks for... sorry about all that chat. Thank you so much for sticking with me and letting me get all those little snippets put together and that sort of thing. That was hard to do. Yeah, it's crazy, man. So 45,000 port workers go on strike. Apparently it was worked out, it costs the US economy, I can't say that word, it costs the US this is per day, by the way, it costs the US government, or the US, $5 billion a day for every day they are on strike. $5 billion. Whoa. Damn, that's a lot of money. That is a buttload of money right there. $5 billion a day. So obviously they want to get it sorted out. It has now been sorted out. I'll play the I'll load that one up for you now. Hang on. Yeah, so the strike's been averted. They've agreed to certain terms. So the strike's going to come to an end, but I tell you what, that could have been very interesting. I'll be honest, I did not expect the strike to last very long, just because of the huge volumes of money that it brings in a day. Plus also the huge impact to the infrastructure of America. I mean, it's all the goods that come into the US on the east side of the coast. That's 45,000 workers. That's a huge number. But I don't blame them, to be honest. If they don't like it, they should get another job. Well, you say that, but I mean, fair enough. You always have that option. If you're not happy in where you're working, yes, you can go and get another job. But if you've been there 10, 20 years and you got your pension and everything with them, then you might not want to leave. You may love the job, you just don't feel like you're that you're getting treated fairly. The thing is, I've watched a lot of these news reports on this strike. And it's all of them are the same sort of thing. Now, bear in mind, all the news agencies, all the news or entertainment news media, who owns those? The super rich. Rupert Murdoch, I think, is one of them. So super powerful people that own all the news outlets. They don't want the dock workers, because when these dock workers are on strike, it's affecting them. So they're not going to be grateful. They're not going to be completely, transparent on reporting the news. They're going to make the news just ever so slightly in favour of making the dock workers look like horrible people, which just isn't the case. So from looking into this, the shipping companies and all that sort of thing, since COVID have reported record-breaking sums of money. So they've made huge volumes of money, record-breaking volumes of money. And the only way they could make that money is off the backs of the dock workers. Without the dock workers, nothing will happen. So you've got 45,000 dock workers. They're most probably getting paid a good wage, admittedly, but they're having to do huge amounts of hours to get a really good wage. So they're having to work hard, maybe harder than they should do, in a job that's not particularly safe anyway. So yeah, I totally get why they're striking, but it's like every time you see the report, it's 45,000 dock workers are on strike, and that's going to affect you. It's going to affect your pocket, because it's going to make things go up. So all the things you buy, so bread and fresh fruit, things like that, that's going to be more expensive because we can't get a hold of them. So that's going to hit your wallet. So you should be more angry with the dock workers, rather than them turning around saying, look, actually, we've made billions of profit, way more than we normally do over the past few years. We haven't really given any more money to the dock workers, but if it weren't for them, we wouldn't have made the money. But we're going to keep all that money. We're going to treat our dock workers like crap and not pay them the best wage, not pay them as much as we should do. We're just going to keep on using and abusing them until they just cave in or just go on strike, and then we'll give them a little bit of money. And that's basically it. So no, I don't blame the dock workers. We'll watch this one now, the report on it now being finished.
Economic crisis averted. U.S. ports getting back on track this morning after dock workers struck a tentative deal to end their strike. NBC's senior business correspondent Christine Roman's been all over this story. Christine, good morning, and what are the details?
Yes, good morning to both of you. Starting today, tens of thousands of union workers will return back to work after heading to the picket line on Tuesday. It's good news, because the shutdown could cost the U.S. economy up to $4.5 billion a day, and a lengthy strike could have led to higher prices and shortages of goods ahead of the holiday season. The union released a statement on Thursday expressing they had reached a tentative agreement on wages, and they've agreed to extend the master contract until January 15th. That's when they said they'll return to the bargaining table to negotiate all the other outstanding issues. So here's what we know so far. Sources telling CNBC that under this tentative deal, workers will see a near 62% wage hike over the course of 6 years. The union, remember, had originally asked for 77%. This increase would potentially raise the top longshoreman's wage to just over $63 an hour at the end of that 6-year deal. That's an increase from $39 an hour. Now, NBC News has reached out to the union for any more details.
Yeah, they get paid a good wage now, but just keep in mind, you have to pay tax on that. So, and they don't have set hours. They have to work their hours. So a lot of them will do overtime and do more hours than they should do just to try and get their wage up. And $39 an hour, that'd be about £32 an hour. That's a lot of money. That's like the same kind of amount of people in London get paid. Yeah, that's a lot of money, but it is a very dangerous job. You've got huge vehicles moving around at speed. You've got gigantic shipping containers being carried overhead on cranes. It is a very, very dangerous job. So, it quite is literally a case that every day you're putting your life at risk going to work. So is £32 an hour enough for you to risk your life? I don't know. If the companies hadn't been making record profit and were making the normal kind of wage. So if you were a dock worker and you went in and your wage was £32 an hour, and the company was making a small amount of profit a year, not tons, but a small amount of profit, then you'd be like, okay, yeah, I know my company's not making a lot of money. This is what we get paid. It's a good wage. It's the best wage I can get. But, the company's not making tons, so I don't expect to be paid more. But then if the company's making huge amounts of profit and you're still getting paid the same, I'd be well ticked off. I'd be like, hang on, you've made billions in profit in the last few years and you're making record-breaking sales, more than you've ever done before, but you're still paying me the same. And also, if we're making record-breaking sales, does that mean the increase in work's gone up because you're having to do more to accommodate all these extra containers and all these extra ships? So you're doing even more work and you're still getting paid the same amount. So yeah, it makes sense. It's not, it's not a case of, oh, we should just get another job. It's not as simple as that.
But have not heard back. Now, President Biden also reacting to this deal, applauding the news, applauding both sides for coming together to reopen these ports, stating that Thursday's tentative deal represents critical progress toward a strong contract.
Well, it's crisis averted for now, but it's kind of kicking the can down the road, and there are these outstanding issues, which sounds like trouble. So what does that include?
One of the biggest concerns right now, guys, is port automation, which is still under negotiation. What we're hearing from the dock workers is there is a big urgency here to protect their jobs against this fast-moving technology.
Yeah, basically, obviously, automation. It's like with the trains, the London Underground and the trains in London. The government wants to automate them, but that's not very fair because we've got the train workers, but the train workers want more money, which then makes it kind of like, well, they keep on going on strike, they're causing more problems. If we just automate it, we get rid of that issue. And it's a back and forward, to and fro. The same thing with America. I mean, if they automated the entire process or start automating big chunks of the process, then that means all these guys will lose those jobs. It could be thousands and thousands of jobs lost to the automation of it. So clearly they do not want to be automated. Just like in the movie industry when they had the strikes, the SAG strikes in entertainment, one of the big aspects of that was about AI and how much to allow AI into things like making movies and doing the graphics and writing plots and stories and that sort of thing. Because if you've got a machine that can write something as well as a human, then why do you need the original author or writer? It means that studio could buy an AI machine, create an entire movie from the AI, and then they own the entire thing from start to finish, cutting out any licensing agreements and dividends to the original author of the script. I don't think this will ever get any easier. Oh, for God's sake. I don't think it'll ever get any easier, and I think this is the first sign of things that are going to get harder and harder as we continue.